evening.
Hello and welcome once again to Mensnet. I'm Roy Barreca. My partner Tony DeZaro is taking a breather from his co-hosting duties tonight, but not in his job as executive producer. And Tony has provided what I think is a very provocative show for us tonight entitled Flirting or Sexual Harassment. And joining me to discuss that topic tonight, we're starting out with returning guest Steve Metzger. Steve,
pleasure to be here again.
Steve, welcome to the show. Steve, as you know, is a regular contributor to the show and a local men's advocate. Thanks for coming, Steve. And also returning to the show tonight, Paula Young. Paula is the executive director of the Mount Vernon Animal Shelter.
How do you do? Good to see you.
Nice to have you back again.
Nice to be back.
And we have somebody on the show for the first time, Patricia Blint-Young. She is a nursing assistant and a stage performer from Westchester. Welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you.
So tonight's topic is going to be flirting or sexual harassment. It's sort of like deal or no deal. That's the question. Paula, have you ever been flirted with on the job in the workplace? Have men?
Absolutely.
And how do you take that?
I take it as a huge compliment.
Now,
and I like it to be followed by flowers, dinner, and a movie.
But has anybody ever come on too strong for you?
Yeah, but I try to be forgiving. You know, someone may not have confidence or all the social graces that they need, and so you try to look at everyone with the best point of view.
Patricia, have you ever been flirted with, come on to at the job, in the workplace?
Yes.
And how have you felt about that?
At first, it depends. Women on the whole, they like compliments, and I love compliments. And you know, you're conscious, you feel good about yourself, but then things, you know, take a turn if it gets to you know, if it makes you uncomfortable or intimidates you, then that's when you want to change the role. You know, that's when you don't like it anymore, and that's when you can directly say to the individual, well, you know what, I'm not enjoying this anymore. Just stop. Then, you know, if there's not a stop there and it continues, then you have to take further step.
Well, has that ever happened to you, that somebody's come on too strong?
Not to an extent, no.
No?
No.
What if they did? You would report that to your superior or tell them first before you went to your superior?
Actually, I think the best thing to do is, you know, talk to the person. You know, just say, you know, I don't like this. I would like you to stop this. They might continue, you do the same thing again, but you know, but then you have to make them know that I'm serious about it. Then you take it to the next level.
Well, Paula, I mean, has anybody ever come on too strong for you?
People do it all the time, but I mean, people come on too strong in many different ways. I think it's just bad form. And I don't know that I would take it to my supervisor. I think I would be able to handle it myself. I remember this one gentleman was interfacing with me when I was working in New York City, and it got to the point where he became obsessed and would took pictures of me that I didn't know he had and would carry them around in his wallet.
That's strong.
And he came into my office and was going to commit suicide, and we had to have the cops come in. And in that situation, it got a little much. But normally it's just, you know, and I always think it's interesting that if you find the person who's flirting with you attractive, then they can flirt with you forever. But if it's a short slug who, you know, smells of beer, you're going to report him to your boss.
Well, I mean, but that's the problem. Don't you think there's a little prejudice involved in that? That this guy is what I know my friend, partner Tony calls the unselected single male. I mean, isn't that unfair to him?
Well, no, I think I would then pose the question to you. You as I'm assuming a heterosexual male, how would you feel if a homosexual male came in and squeezed your ass? I mean, it would be...
Not very well.
There you go. So that would be an unselected male. In my case, if it's someone that I enjoy as a person, then I will be much more open to the flirtation. But like I said, if it's a slug with, you know, the toothless slug, it's like then you kind of... You hope that they understand when you say, get lost, buddy.
Okay.
But you try to do nicely.
Well, you know, it seems to me like to some women, they like to play hard to get. And when that happens, the man can persistently ask the woman out, and she'll say no, 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 and then all of a sudden she'll say yes. Now, one woman's sexual harassment is being asked too often. And, and to other women, it's a turn-on. How is a guy supposed to work today?
Women are not allowed to, women can wear anything they want, pretty much. And if a man looks at the breasts that the woman's basically got arrows, and look at me. I just broke the chair.
Okay.
It's my huge breast. But if she dresses provocatively, which is asking for attention, and then a man gives it to her, then she can say, You're looking at my breasts. Well, of course, you're asking me to
That
look
has
at them.
happened in the
Yes,
state of
it's
Arizona.
nonsense.
A professor
That's right.
was sued by 10 women because they all conspired against him and said that he was looking at their breasts, and he almost lost, I think he did lose his job.
And I believe he was rehired. It was ridiculous.
I think after a while, I think you're right. I mean, we did some local, actually national radio on that. But what is the breaking point of where it becomes sexual harassment? Where's that edge? Where's that imaginary or real line?
Patricia said it best, when you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, didn't you have some problems where you were accused of sexual harassment?
Twice, actually.
Twice?
Well,
tell
I'm
us
very
about that.
flirtatious, I'm very friendly, and I also am very touchy-feely. I'm European, and so I touch people, and I kiss people hello. I'm harassing both of you. And 2 times. Once I was working, and there was a biologist where I used to work, and he was so cute, and I flirted with him outrageously because I thought he was adorable. He was a little uptight, so I used to kind of enjoy flirting with him. And he had said to me, he said, if you continue to flirt with me, I'm going to report you to the chairman. And I was like, you're kidding. I said, I'm just joking. And then the second time was when I touched a man's hair at work as a goof. And he said, he went to my supervisor and said, she touched me in the hair, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And I, again, was really taken aback. But I think a lot of that is personal space, and maybe my exuberance, I assume everyone is okay with it.
So did you suffer any consequences from it?
But I certainly apologized. And then I set their cars on fire.
So, I mean, you had to be told by these men, and I assume that, Patricia, if that ever happened to you, you would have to tell the man that this has gone too far.
Yeah, it's always good to, to speak to the harasser, to talk to the person who's making you uncomfortable, rather than taking it, we're adults. So you want to more like handle your business in an adult way.
Well, that's the key, is that we're adults, as opposed to these 2 gentlemen who I think had real problems with women, and especially like women who have personality.
Exactly.
There's a word for you.
Exactly.
Well, Steve, let's bring you into this. You're here. I know you want to approach this from probably a little different angle, but I mean, you know about some of these cases where men have suffered by false accusations and committed suicide and been fired and things like that.
Sure, but I think you have to look at what's happening today in a broader social context, because the mores have changed. I mean, men and women mix together in places where they never did before, on a consistent basis that they never did before. I love looking at reruns of the 1950s, comedy serials or Gunsmoke or something like that. One of the greatest things that men had, they wore hats. So every time they met a woman, they would tip their hat.
Very nice.
I mean, it was all in a kind of a code of being a gentleman. I mean, of course, those that weren't gentlemen, were easily handled because it was very distinctive as to whether they were or not. Nowadays, it isn't. There's so much gray area in this process that, quite frankly, the only thing that I really object to is that women somehow or another remain the standard of, they are the people that's going to judge.
I agree with you.
Harassment or not.
I agree. I think
it's a very subjective kind of thing, as the examples you were just citing.
The social mores that it took thousands of years to hammer out, the feminists in one generation destroyed, so that women who would be pregnant and standing would be given a seat by a gentleman, as opposed to today now, women are pregnant and standing and stand. And old ladies carry their own groceries. And this is what the feminists did. In one generation, they destroyed thousands of years of cultural layering, and that's unfortunate.
Yep. Yes, and at the same time, that kind of social custom and what have you was accompanied by the greater freedom that women had to enter the workforce, that didn't have that type of, sense that it was not the right thing to do, wasn't their role to do. That was all changed. And it's at the same time, as you're pointing out, all the customary relationships between men and women also changed as well. So it was like the 2 things just worked to the wrong end.
Women gained equal rights when women aren't equal to men and men aren't equal to women, and so I don't want to urinate standing up, and I'm sure men don't want to have babies, and we've destroyed a lot, and I don't know to what gain. So that women are now in the workplace, and